Hello YouTube, today I have a new finished product for you. Introducing the Snap Carbine MK3. This blaster was originally created by Ace or KND Operative, and the Mark II design was created by And the Hero Is. This is my 3.0 design. There are many changes and differences from the 2.0 design that I will go over in this video. And I will actually be making a write-up for this for
It's
the
21
Haven
hours.
Homemade competition that will be ending in June, so I'll have a write-up probably over March break about this. So the whole point of the Snap Carbine is to make a more efficient design that is a lot less large than your standard snap bow, and that you can't get hit by the plunger rod when using it. The snap bow is quite large. The draw is an extra 7 inches off the back. So this blaster is actually a lot more compact in its design. This version is quite large because of the very large stock I put on it. Most people would kind of write about there, but I wanted a big stock, and that's my choice. But this front of the blaster is much more compact than your snap bow. And that was the point of the design. Also, with the K18 spring, you get a lot less power, which is also another feature. If you don't like K26 springs, you can use the K18, and that is what this blaster is designed for. This is a snap, which means it has a closed pin trigger. If you notice that there's not much space between the trigger and my little hot glue puddle, and that is because the way this catch system works is that the nail goes through a piece of PVC. So the nail length does not have to be very long, therefore the distance you have to pull the trigger does not have to be very long. In this case, it is quite short. Just by tapping it, you can release the piston. This is actually called a piston, not a plunger rod. This is definitely the cleanest blaster I have done in terms of the cuts and the handle, and basically all the woodwork on it is much nicer. The priming handle, the trigger, and the handle are all very nice. The handle has coats of finish on it. It is quite nice. It's rounded. It's a slightly modified rainbow pump handle. Thank you to Ryan of Nerf Haven for coming up with those templates. What's also different about this is that this is at an angle. That's just my personal preference. I find that when priming the blaster, like that, it actually is better. That the angle actually helps you with the prime a little bit. Just it's kind of like the single long shot, the same idea there. Um, the other difference would be the front of the blaster is just a standard 1 inch to ½ inch size reduction bushing, and the front of the piston, the plunger head, you could call it, is a slightly different design. I'm using washers instead of an O-ring. If you can see there, that's the washer design, just like a snap. Also, what is different than the 2.0 is that there is a metal washer inserted in the piston right after the trigger hole, so that the nail here does not erode the PVC piston and cause it, after about 10,000 shots, or probably less than that, to wear down and to not catch anymore. That problem is fixed by inserting a metal washer right around there. Starting from the front of the blaster, you have your standard end cap, and I have 4 screws holding it in. I did put hot glue over these screws, as well as sealant material for the threads, so that I'm not losing air in the front. Moving down, I have this piece of PVC, which has been glued using 3 different adhesives to the body. You don't want to put screws in because this is the body where the air is. Then I have a T that I have cut, and I had to Dremel the inside because it was not friction fit. It was actually you're supposed to twist it on, but I bought the wrong piece, so I had to Dremel it. So this handle putt's not entirely straight. It's pretty good, but it's slightly off, just because of my Dremeling. Standard closed pin trigger, I don't know, it's upside down. just standard. It's sanded, bit too sanded, but it works. And then there's this cover piece of felt, which is kind of cool. The handle's mounted in the I guess mounting way where you have another piece of 1¼ inch PVC and you attach the handle to that, and that attaches to the blaster. This way or the other way of directly mounting the handle from the top works, but I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to cut holes in the top there, so I did this way. The one problem with this is you can see it's not perfectly flush with the top in that section, and it would have been better if it was. I didn't cut this down at all, this piece. You're supposed to cut it down. I did cut it down on this one. There's slightly less piece of there's slightly less PVC on the handle attachment piece, which is good. But this works. Going back, K18 spring. You're supposed to have 3 inches for the spring to compress in. I have about 3 inches right here, because compression starts, I think, like right here. I'm not quite sure where it starts. Standard T and a small piece of 1-inch PVC. This was all taped up by me. I had very limited colors because I actually ran out of my other colors. So I had to stick with the green, blue, and yellow paint, I guess tape job to it. I didn't have orange, which is not so great. I usually do the front in orange, like on this blaster. I did a lot more orange and then had the yellow. I think that this paint scheme, tape scheme is better than this one. This one's also the same one that was on my Snapple I made a while back. So I'm quite happy with this blaster in comparison to this one. Here, stand up and show you guys. It's not too different. It's a little bit different, but it's fine. This one's a lot larger. Both are worthy. This one was tested at Nino 6 and performed quite well. So this one at Nino 8 should do pretty well. And it shoots about 100 feet. Here's a firing test. Firing test. That was 2 darts.